Hello and welcome back to another Fate Grander video. Yeah, I didn't expect Ordeal called Prologue to be this early. So, yeah, let's begin. So, before I start, I just wanted to show you this.
いらっしゃいだね、マスター。
I posted on the community note, but those who have not seen it, I got another NP2 of Kukulkan right after I ended the stream. The next day after I ended the stream, so I just wanted to do a multi and see if I can get uh, get Lalak or Cuckoo. So yeah, I got NP2 of her. So yeah, that was it, and I've been grinding on the free quest to get Cuckoo's skill up to 10. That's what's been happening. So yeah, let's begin with Ordeal called Prologue and see what this next part of the story has to offer. Okay. I think we are starting right after we leave the Lost Pit. So yeah, we are approaching the Antarctic Circle. Trismegistus predicts no dangers today. That means we can relax and not worry about enemy interference, at least until we reach Caldia base. Still, at least remain alert as we prepare for arrival. I can't believe we are finally going back to Caldia base. First, there is something I would like to say. This is separate matter from Caldia, which we now know to be the foreign planet. Caldius. Okay. My analysis on this subject E is complete. Would you like to hear my report, Commander Gordon? Alright, we still had that issue to deal with too. Frankly, I am well past my limit for crazy revelations, but not hearing you out certainly won't help matters. Very well, you may give your report. Get on with it then. Then I will begin with the data I was able to analyze. I can now confirm that the mysterious laboratory our field agent Wade, Mush and Kadok infiltrated was in fact research facility that existed in our world. As as may as many know, there is a facility in Nevada's Area 51 dedicated to ca- clandestine study of UFO and extraterrestrials. While our field agents were not able to verify the exact equipment used for the facility during their visit, Trismegistus II was able to use the data Marcius Ortonax recorded to confirm that the facility was 99% match for Area 51. This means test subject E was being kept at a facility from proper human history. Yeah, we already know about that. Yeah, that tracks. That place might have been in the middle of huge singularity, but it was too out of the place as a building. It makes sense that the singularity spawned from that operating room. Yeah, I agree. It also ties into our theory who the master behind the singularity was. That is the one who summoned the whole mass of some servants. The way I see it, that room was the only part that was that singularity that belonged to proper human history. Or at least it belonged to a celestial body that was as close to proper human history as it could possibly be. It might even go I might even go as far as to theorize that the facility itself was located in Caldias's Nevada. You think that facility was inside Caldias? Then is that why the corridor looked like it was in outer space? Because we were actually traveling between planets. That's my guess. Yes, displacement magecraft is absolutely a thing. For example, let's say we have two Gordies here, Gordie A and Gordie B. Assuming they have the exact same composition and volume of data, displacement magecraft can would let us swap them out instantly, no matter how far apart they might be. So it's the same thing as what happened to David. Everything is same, and also the memories of David are also the same. But he feels like he's not. He feels like he's not the same David who was before the incident happened. Okay. And the reason for that is, of course, because they are completely indistinguishable to a third party. Only the Gordy being displaced who would know they'd been swapped. Heck, in some circumstances, even they might be none the wiser. When something unnatural occurs without having a noticeable impact on the world, that's when you know Magecraft has done its job well, really well. Indeed, this particular kind of Magecraft is theoretically possible, but it would be an exponentially more difficult on a larger target. If memory serves, I believe I heard an old mage family unaffiliated with the clock tower was studying it. Also, please don't use me as an example from now on. The idea of waking up one day and having A or B appended to my name is the sort of thing that keeps me up at night. Displacement swapping out. Could that have been the could that have been what bleached Earth in an instant? Hmm. Interesting. You think Caldea's surface and Earth's surface was swapped out? Caldeus is obviously much smaller than Earth, but since it contains the copy of Earth's soul, that does essentially make it identical. Didn't we just didn't we confirm it in the last Lost build that Caldeus is the copy of another planet and not the Earth's? It has exact same mass as Earth, but it is not Earth. It contains a copy of Earth's soul. That's what we have been told in these singularities. But in the seventh Lost build, they told that it was not that. So, okay. Since Caldea's volume and data and soul compositions are exactly same as Earth's, their surface could be swapped regardless of the difference in size. Honestly, I was more always puzzled by how Earth was bleached than how it looked after the fact. I mean, it's just not possible to instantly destroy the entire civilization on a planet's surface without harming the planet itself. So you are saying if they were just swapping the planet's surface out for one that was already bleached, that would be a different story. Right. Which would also mean that our world was the original Earth is still safe and sound on Caldeas. So if we can restore Caldeas and Earth's relationship to be the way it was, then our future will continue on the planet on the path it was meant to. So everything can go back to the way it was, huh? Human history can pick right up where it left off in 2019 when Earth was wiped clean. But hang on, Caldeus is supposed to be simulating Earth's 100 years from now. And that would mean the lab we saw was from 2119. But then that everything about that lab, including the technology, seemed identical to what we would expect to see in 2019. So you are saying it was too old to be from 2119, right? I found that strange as well. I determined rather quickly that it was on Caldeus, but it certainly did not look anything like cutting edge technology from 2119. And yet the data we have on test subject E clearly shows that it died a few days ago. Since the place it occupied was on Caldea, that would mean it died in the year 2119. But that leaves the technology in the lab is the same as that of 2019. I was for a time concerned that I would not be able to explain this discrepancy. Maybe they just couldn't update the equipment for some reason. What if they just weren't able to update the equipment for some reason? Precisely, difficult as it may be to believe because one wonders why something as so ridiculous could happen that it is indeed what did happen. Given the gap of 100 years, the only sensible explanation is that the equipment could not be updated. Huh, is that even possible? Most likely, this is owed to extenuating circumstances of some kind. For example, they may have had budget or personal shortfalls. In proper human history, Area 51 secret facility was shut down around 2001 and their research budget was drastically reduced. So the most likely explanation is that the same facility on Caldeas ran into the same kind of trouble. Well, that's definitely one possibility. Securing an educate budget is one of the biggest and most important issues facing okay most important issues facing research efforts. but there is one difference between the lab on Earth and the one on Caldea's test subject E. The fact that an alien life form existed in the lab on Caldeus. Wait a minute. So if what they are saying is true, then David Blue Book was not on Earth's surface but actually on the Caldeus surface, because he entered the facility, the Area 51 facility, and after, because he didn't enter the singularity, he just entered the test facility. Okay. Means Caldeus's version of Earth must have achieved something proper human history hasn't. In which case, I'd expect there to be plenty of funds made available for this lab in the national budget. Which means there must be some sort of trouble that need not detain us at the moment. So let us move on. The corpse you found on the operating room had the exact same biological composition as us. Despite this, Trismegistus II did not recognize that corpse as human from Earth. No, it did. It is not that. It did not. No, it is not that it did not. It could not. Even with the same data values, there was something different about it. And because of that error in logic, Trismegistus II was unable to come to a final conclusion on test subject E. Indeed, it just got stuck on the phase within it wherein it labeled the object as human. So once I set the conclusion aside and focused exclusively on analyzing the situation, a great deal of information became clear very quickly. Data point 1. Test subject E is a human from the version of Earth in Caldeus. So probably David Blue Book. Data point 2. If the bleached Earth phenomenon is actually Caldeus' surface, then Caldeus's human have all died out. Data point 3. The equipment used on the lab was Caldeus's Earth were antiquates. And all of the technology developed between 2019 and 2119 is no longer functional. This can be assumed from remains of buildings still extant on bleached Earth. Any machinery that could operate on such world would have to be at least 100 years old. Simple combustion engine like those are used in motorcycles would also likely still function. So those are the fact I was able to ascertain from test subject E. Yep. It's looking more and more like test subject E was different from the experimentation that happened on the foreign god. So what happened to David Blue Book then? Because he entered the facility, he was killed, and from the point I remember, David Blue Book got shot while he was examining what was on that table, and some mysterious person with a bunch of lines showed up behind him, shot him with a pistol, and he then fell down right there. So the nervous system, or the thing that seemed like the nervous system of human, was David Blue Book, and the twig we saw on the table was something that Okay, sorry about that. So, what was I saying? Hmm. Something about David Blue Book, but I don't remember what I was saying. Hmm. Let's see what Shion has to say further. So, okay. If we take those into consideration when asking why test subject E became a master, why did some why they summoned so many servants and why they spawned such a huge singularity, everything points to revenge. The Cardiasis earth was bleached. We may not know how it happened, but we can figure out why. Caldea's earth was bleached so its surface could be swapped out with our earth's. Test subject E knew that's why they gave their servants those urges. They wanted to take revenge on proper human history for destroying their world. Test subject E was aware they were the last members of Caldea's humankind. That made them the sole representative of all of Caldea's human life. In fact, that's the only explanation for how they were able to summon that many servants. Otherwise, there is just no way one person could possibly summon so many. It must have been the collective will of every human who died on Caldeasis that made summoning servants in such numbers possible. That also explains why they had so many command spells. They must have been all the collected command spells from every human on Caldeasis with master potential. And that would mean that corpse was a nameless regular person who found themselves responsible for the future of all of humankind, just like you, Ved. So yeah, that's probably David Bluebook, and the twig was the what remains of the foreign god that was being experimented on the table, and the person who shot David Bluebook is still a mystery which we don't know anything about. Huh? But that would mean if you are seeing this file, that must mean if you're seeing this file, then you must have also acquired information on test subject E. While it should be your job to analyze it and determine what it is, I've decided to be generous and make things a little easier for you. Test subject E is not a terrestrial being. It is the remains of a humanity. It is a remains of a being humanity scattered away, probed and experimented upon in that facility over 100 years. Yeah, that is the question. I believe it cries for agony as it lays down are what drew the foreign god its compatriots here. So Moriarty was wrong about that assessment of his. Wait. Hold on just a damn minute. I do feel bad for what happened to Caldeas's Earth, but there was nothing we could have done about it. We have nothing to feel actual guilt for there. More importantly though, I'd like to get the timeline straight. According to the report I read, when Ved first came to Caldea in 2017, Caldeasis was already at the point where the future of humankind could not be observed. So is that when Caldeasis was first bleached? No, it wasn't. The light of civilization had died down here and there because of singularity F. But other than that, Caldeus' surface was the same as Earth's. It was Shiba that said it couldn't preserve human history or observe it beyond 2018. We can all vouch for that. But honestly, given what happened with the incineration of humanity and bleached earth phenomenon, it makes sense that Shiva would come to that conclusion. So Caldeus' earth must have been bleached sometime after the incineration of humanity was resolved. Though that would also mean Caldeus was deceiving us in 2019 back when we were undergoing special processing. So Caldeus was operating normally until the ray shift experiment in 2017. Or I suppose it had yet to reveal its true villainous nature, which would mean it didn't foresee Solomon's incineration of humanity. In fact, if it hadn't been for that, this plan would probably have been put into action at the end of 18. It's certainly safe to say that Solomon, Goetia's machinations through of Marisbury's schedule. So perhaps if not for singularity, if the surface of Caldeus and Earth would have swapped places sooner. Good point. The explosion in the Caldea command room definitely wasn't part of Director Marisbury's plan. So what happened afterwards is part of what led to our present very strange circumstances. Something must have gone awry when Lev dropped Olga Marie into Caldeus. That is all the information I can tell you about this subject. Fortunately, this analysis has revealed at least 80% of Caldeus' intended purpose. We now know that it was always meant to swap its Earth that is its human history for ours. Okay, so as David was saying before waking up Ort, he was saying something about Marisbury wanted to displace the humanity on Earth to different parts of the universe in the 14.3 or 13.8 billion light years away on different planet. So Caldeus is connected to a planet which is 13.8 billion light years away. Okay. And that it was the incineration and that it was the intention of Caldea's creator, former director of Caldea, Marisbury Animosphere, that this happened. So Goetia was definitely trying to save humanity per se by destroying it and then preserving the souls of humans into a different dimension. So did Liv Liner intentionally put Olga Marie inside of Caldeus, or was it just a coincidence that Liv Liner put Olga on the Caldeus, and that's what led to the foreign god taking the form of Olga Marie? Okay. Of course, that leads us to the next problem we need to consider. Why would he do such a thing? Yeah, that's what would he hope Yeah, what would he hope to gain from bleaching Earth? I completely agree. Neither I nor Trismegistus II were able to arrive at an answer to this query. Goetia wanted to create an Goetia wanted to create undying life and a planet without death. Krishtaria wanted to evolve all of humankind. David said he wanted to destroy Caldeus to salvage humankind's reputation, even if it meant destroying Earth along with it. I may not agree with their reasons for doing what they did, but I can still understand them. But bleaching all of Earth, that I cannot understand. I cannot see what the ultimate goal could be. Maybe he was just fed up with humanity and wanted to cleanse Earth by getting rid of it. No, Marisbury wasn't that kind of person. He wasn't a nihilist or even a pessimist. He was a good mage who loved seeing humans prosper and who wanted to push our collective knowledge even further. I bet if he hadn't if he wasn't a genuinely good guy, King Solomon would never have answered his summons during Fuyuki's Holy Grail War. So it isn't safe to say Marisbury was definitely a good mage. The problem is there are quite a few shades of good. Whatever Marisbury's goal was, it must have been something extreme enough that we never think of it, like David's. Yeah, maybe you are right. I mean, we are talking about a clock tower's lord here. There is no telling how much his vision of prospering might have differed from us. Yeah, so right now all we need to figure out is Caldea's current situation and the fact that our Earth is safe. But we should find all the answers once we get to Antarctica. How much further, Nemo? Funny you ask. We are actually just about to enter the Antarctic Circle now. I'm not seeing any obstacles. We should reach Caldea Basin. Yeah, what's that? Wall ahead. Wall dead ahead. Full reverse. Head to port. Hard to port. All hands brace for impact. Did you guys see that? Shiva did not even warn us. I detect no hostile signals or gravity fields. And yet we are still being repelled. What kind of air pressure could possibly keep the storm border away? Damn it, I should have known it wouldn't be that simple. Is it the foreign god? No. Is it Caldeus itself? What's going on? Technical advisor. I don't know. There is nothing unusual going on in Antarctica at all. This barrier sprung up on its own. No, it didn't. Everyone, I think this is the wall. This is a wall of humanity. I recognize this difference. It's the same force that powers Sir Galahad's noble phantasm, Lord Camelot. That means the preservation of humanity itself is protecting the Antarctic. I've done a lap around the Antarctic and the wall surrounds the entire region. We can't get past it with a We can't get past it and the storm border's dimensional piercing drill or the storm border's zero sail. I don't know why, but all the attempts are being repelled. Nothing works. I've never seen a wall like this before. Because it's entirely formless, we have no way to break through. Even every special navigational technique we try fails. I have no idea how it works or why it's doing this. Unbelievable. Our destination is right in front of us and we can't even get near it. Technical advisor, Elknam, isn't there anything we can do? Surely you must have at least analyzed it by now, right? I'm I'm sorry, but I'm completely bewildered too. What is this? Some kind of prank? Right. The thing pops up whenever we approach, then disappears when we move away. It's completely denying us a way to get through, but it's also barely damaging the ship at all. I can't even figure out what's powering it. I think I preferred the storm walls. If it's just like the Lord Camelot, then of course this was going to happen now that the seven lost belts are gone. Caldius has become the foundation of human history, the celestial spear for the preservation of humanity. That wall isn't meant to be that one wall isn't meant to keep Caldius safe. It's checkpoint intended to keep foreign elements out. The Antarctic is not what is keeping you out. Proper human history itself is rejecting you. That voice. It's him. That's Romani Archman Marine. Try to record what he's saying. Roger, pointing camera his way now. Grand battle music. This is the domain of proper human history. None of you can enter it as you are now. I'll admit, even I didn't foresee this outcome. Over the course of this war, you have handled far too many things that simply do not exist in proper human history. Rulers, alter egos, avengers, all matter of servants that don't belong to the seven classes. Now, after you have spent so much time abusing these classes, which should not exist, proper human history regards you as a foreign elements. Until you correct this imbecile imbalance, you'll never be able to set foot near Caldius. You cannot take those things. No, that's not right. You cannot take those servants with you into the time beyond 2019, not with your current understanding. Wait, the gears within you no longer mash. The gears within you no longer mash. Why do classes exist when by rights they shouldn't? What place do these weapons have in human history? Once you understand and accept the answers to those questions, you will be foreign element no longer. You will be foreign elements no longer. Turn your ship around Novum Caldia. There are places where you can correct those imbalances and atone for the sins you unknowingly committed. That is the duty you must fulfill. Now, your ordeal call. Once you have settled three imbalances, then the celestial spear will see the light of day. 4. Yeah. He didn't expect the third one. I would just leave it at that because not all the people play JP, so okay. You are sure to face partings as you walk this path. Be certain you are prepared for this. Trismegistus II has arrived at a conclusion. It looks like that mysterious figure was telling the truth. The barriers around Antarctica is kind of a self-purification mechanism and we are the reason it is being created. As much as it pains me to say this, it seems that humanity currently sees us as criminals. Appa- Apparently, we ourselves are the ones preventing us from setting foot in the pure land of Antarctica. I knew it. This wasn't an attack, it was an alarm. Extra classes aren't meant for humans to handle. Extra classes are typically too much for humans to handle, and given all the servants from extra classes we have been using, of course, humanity would reject us. I guess we have done the equivalent of using weapons banned by international law, like they were going all they were going out of style. We can't deny we are guilty as uh, sorry, probably wasn't the best example I could have picked. It's okay, Munir. I understand. Thank you. Still, facts are facts. If Caldeus has made with ill intentions, even secretly, then of course someone will have to be held to account for the demi-servant experiments. I accept that, and I will let my own deeds demonstrate the rightness or wrongness of my creation. Even if creating me was wrong, there are still so many futures for us to choose from. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to receive the power to protect. Whatever you have to say about me, I'm certain this power isn't wrong, isn't evil. Yeah, damn straight isn't. So you knew all along, how much? Well said, Krielite. But should anyone ever learn on this incident, it is clear you will all face serious consequences. Is there anything I can do for them? Anything to ensure these fools will be rewarded instead of punished? It's true. Director Maresbury's Caldia was evil. But it's equally true that what came from it was undeniably good. The accident that happened during 2017's ray shift experiment, along with everything that came afterwards, put an end to Director Marisbali's Caldia forever. Not just physically, but in spirit too. The only remaining staff were a dozen or so employees, all unaware of Director Marisbury's intentions, and Romani Ackerman, who felt a strong responsibility to stop the incineration of humanity, and that meant Caldia became an entirely different organization than its founder intended. It became a place to preserve one man's not one man's vision for the future, but a future imagined by many different people. And that's never going to change. Not now, not ever. If there is something wrong with us, we'll just fix it with the same courage and wisdom that's brought us this far. That man said we have an imbalance, right? Then there must be points in time affected by this discrepancies, some distortions similar to singularities. So we are going to find them, prove our innocence, and then come back to Antarctic. Hard to starboard, huh? As captain, I have no objections. Besides, I was just thinking we could stand to go back to some of the places we saw standing buildings and resupply. Very well. As I said earlier, I never expect this to be quite so simple. Do as you see fit. I can stick around a little longer. Speaking of an alchemist from the Atlas Institute, it hurts to hear that being tricked in we are being treated like criminals because we have been relying on certain kinds of weapons. This would mean half, no, a third of the situation is my fault, correct? So I, of course, have no objections either. Trismegistus is second, and I will continue to help you all on our expedition, on your expedition. Well, it looks like our goalposts have been moved a little further back than we expected. We are expecting. How are you feeling all about all this, Ved? Of course, I want to keep going. I'm sure not to turn. I'm sure not about to turn back now. Alright, then let's start exploring the world. We can think of this as getting all our ducks in a row before our showdown with Caldeus. In fact, everything has worked out as desired, including the opportunity to resupply. That being said, we still have no idea what we'll find out there. We'll have to deal with the imbalances we have racked up over the course of our battle to this date, and we'll have to face scrutiny for our mistakes from humanity itself. I hate to borrow that guy's wording, but I can't deny it's a fitting name for our mission. Operation Ordeal Call. It is. Once we overcome this new trials, we'll reach our final destination. Okay.
ノーム・カルデアは反人類史にはないものを扱いすぎたせいでそこから弾かれている。
Okay, the lost bells.
カルデアスには近づけない。
Will be
自
3,
らの潔白を証明する。かつてない未知の探索であるのは間違いない。
5.1 and 2.
これまでの戦いで
6 and 7.
我々が向き合わなくてはならない
Scrutiny.
とが
Okay. Vestiges
本来ならありえ
like
ないクラスとの開口。
Divine Comedy.
アベンジャー、アルターエゴ、果たすべき生産。
Rani.
一つ、秩序を担う最低者。
The Count.
うつろな罪を自覚する巡礼の
Pilgrimage. Knowledge. Feast.
英語
Okay.
の復讐者。
Family.
すべてを焼き
Crime
尽
and
くす恩賜
Punishment.
の炎。
Tokyo.
一つ、
Old
自我から
Male
分かた
War.
れし別人格。己の内側
Hatred
を
and
相対する。
loathing.
作戦名オーディールコール。この試練を乗り越えた先が我々の終着だ。なに、私たちに問題がある
And
なら
that's the title screen.
知恵と勇気
Begins 2025. Yup. That was a perfect way to hype up new chapter. Okay, it's grayed out. So probably around April, I think it's going to be starting with Ordeal Call 1. We're excited to see what the story has in store for us, because JP, I think, was not happy with the first one, but they loved the second one as much as they loved LB6. So pretty excited to see what the stories are like for this Ordeal Call. Okay, so I think I'll be ending it here, and probably in the first week of February is when the Valentine's event starts. So see you guys then. Thank you all for watching, and see you guys next time with Valentine's event. Okay then, bye.